I should be able to do more. Why am I like this? Is this how it's going to be going forward? Yesterday, I had one of those days that everything in me was telling me that I wasn't enough. It started out like any normal morning, um, just trying to get myself ready, get busy, and I had nothing. I just had zero energy to be able to really get myself dressed, get myself going. And what ended up happening was I spent the entire day in my pajamas. I needed to just rest. I needed to take the day off. I needed to allow myself to just be. Here's what I actually did. I call it I heard it, I spotted it, and I chose differently. So I heard it. I heard our, what was going on in my head. I heard what I was telling myself. I heard the really brutal beating up of myself and spotted that I was in fear. I spotted that I was worrying about my future. I spotted that I was afraid that I was a burden, that this was going to be me being the person that needed taking care of, and couldn't be spontaneous, do the fun things that I wanted to. And it spiraled into the worst case scenario. It spiraled into everything that I could absolutely fear about living my life with a disability being true for me, ruining everything my husband and I had planned. So I spotted all this. I spotted what this fear was. I spotted that it was this overactive fear that was surfacing for me. To choose differently, I chose 5 quiet rebellions. So, number one, the first thing I did was I canceled all the appointments I had for the day. The second thing I did was choose rest. So I allowed myself to be in my pajamas all day. I didn't have any requirements that I had to do. I let my business go to the side, even though I wanted to record a video yesterday. I let it go. I didn't touch the dishes. I'd had a book club here last night, hosted, allowed that just to be there, to be a mess, and to know I'd get to it. So that was the second thing. I rested. The third thing I did was to question. So I know when I hear my voice, I know when I hear that internal dialogue that is focusing on the worst case scenario, that's beating me up, that is really trying to activate me to do something different. I know that it's there to protect me. I know that it's just coming from the best place. And this is what fear is like. It's trying to get you to take the action you need to take. But it's not true. And I knew that I needed to question all these thoughts because they're there. This is what's underneath the behavior that was happening yesterday. This fear was real. And I am afraid of the future. I am afraid of what's going to happen and how I'll be able to function or not function. And being a burden is not something that I look forward to. So I spent some time really writing these thoughts out, having a look at what each of these thoughts was really, what I was believing about it, how it made me feel when I thought these thoughts, and what I did when I was believing these thoughts. And it wasn't pretty. So, for example, if I'm believing that I'm going to be a burden, it makes me feel sad. It makes me feel frustrated. It makes me feel irritated. And then I actually take it out on my husband more. And I didn't do anything. I felt like a burden, and I was a burden. I was a burden to him. I was a burden to myself. And I proved myself right. So when I can see that and break it down and question it, then I can really allow myself to choose a different way of thinking. And I think what I came to yesterday, one of the main one was it's okay. This is just a rest day. Let yourself rest. Let yourself not have to do anything. Let yourself to be looked after if that's what happens. And I was able to get there long enough to really allow that resting and quiet time to work for me. The fourth quiet rebellion that I did was that I allowed myself to connect to the people around me who I really trust their uh, ability to listen to me and to give me back what they're hearing me say and what I need to be looking at that they know isn't true for me. And I allowed myself to connect, first of all, with myself so I could hear everything, but then to the people who I really respect. And that always helps me to reframe the stories that are in my head. The fifth thing I did was I really allowed myself to trust myself and that I would be okay, that I could rest as long as I needed to rest. I could stop everything, I could put it aside, I could allow myself to get help from others and to connect, and that it would work out and that would all be fine. And here I am today, feeling much better, um, but also with the realization that this is happening more and more often for me. So there is some reality that I have to be aware of, that sometimes I'm not going to be able to be enough in the way I feel like is enough. And sometimes I am going to be a burden. And sometimes the way I see my future is going to be the way I don't really want it to be. And so this is part of continuing to be present with it all and to realize that these thoughts that I'm having, there is some truth to it. And they help me to be able to then figure out how I want to move forward. But I don't need to listen to them in a way that hurts me and in a way that um, stops me in my tracks, in a way that makes me feel hopeless, and in a way that I don't feel like I can control what's next for myself. So this is was my five quiet rebellion steps that I took yesterday that really made me feel better. All right, so I hope that gives you some ideas for when you notice that you are having some thoughts in your head that you really don't want them to be there and what you can do about it. All right. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.